Hi folks, LMP3 at Suzuka, the last one this season. So let's crack on with it. Right then, fast lap done and dusted, and let me show you the info tab using the fixed iRacing setup. 122 Fahrenheit track temp, which is quite toasty, and a moderate usage of 44% is what I always use for these guys. That's quite handy. Now, the lap I'm actually going to show you my fastest was lap 9 with a 57 flat, and then we did a few mistakes, and then we did a 57.161, and then we came in with a nice little 157.105, which is the lap I'm going to show you. So low 57s. I think if I do enough practice, I will be in the 56s, so that'd be quite nice. And I do think the open setup will be easily in the 55s around here. The open setups generally have been a lot quicker in this second half of the season because we've actually got, you know, full racetracks with big long straights and where you can actually design a car to take curbs, get the maximum out of like 6th gear that you don't really get out of this fixed setup. So yeah, end of the season, end of the fixed setups. Hopefully we'll get some unique ones per track if iRacing can sort that out. That'll be absolutely fantastic, and it should be a very nice car. Fingers crossed for that one. Fingers crossed. But yeah, what else do I show you? My split times are all there for you. You can see my optimal there is a 56.5. This is where I think the open will definitely be in the 55s. Also, OLAP, BillApp, telemetry, and replay file will all be on my Discord, and also I use Garage66, which is an online telemetry tool, so very useful to compare my lap with your lap time. So go ahead and use that if you wish. It's completely free, not affiliated with them, just think it's a very useful thing to have. But yeah, this will be an interesting week, because in the open setup with multi-class with the GT4s, you can generally only overtake them on the straights, because through the S's, maybe the last sort of right-hander of the S's, I think it's turn 1, 2, 3, 4, turn 5, that sort of long right-hander. You can probably get around the outside around there, but it is quite risky. The GT4s will be limited on grip through there, so us coming through there with a bit of downforce is going to be interesting. So take it cautiously and try and overtake them on the straight as best you can. Remember to finish first you have to finish, so bear that in mind around here. But yeah, otherwise I quite like it. Suzuka's a nice big circuit, it's quite twisty, and then the second half is quite a big sort of stretch layout. The corner down this straight, now Spoon is called. Real pain in the rear. The second part of Spoon is really awkward. This car does not like it in the slightest. It just seems to be properly everywhere, sort of understeer, oversteer. The car's floating around. It doesn't feel like you got any actual grip with the road. So yeah, be cautious about that one. I expect to see a lot of spins in Spoon, so bear that in mind. That could be a tongue twister as well, couldn't it? Anyway, I think that's enough of me waffling. So yeah, let's crack on with the guide. Right then, Suzuka, this wonderful place. It's a good start-finish straight. It's a long way down here, so be cautious on the first few laps, and slipstreaming will definitely be a thing, but we are hunting for the little service road here on the left-hand side, and that's our turn-in point. Just as we get to the middle of the track, we want to brake nice and easy. Hold a consistent brake bias through here because you don't want to oversteer or understeer or lock up or anything like that. Second gear around here just to get the rotation. If you can get around it in third, that'd probably be better, but I was fine now just pushing wide when I was getting on power at this point and just getting a silly little off-track there on the left-hand side. But once that's done, bring the car back over to the right-hand side. Now this is the sequence where you need to get it spot on. So at this point I turn in and then lift off to try and make sure I clip that curb on the apex. This one, come into here, little double brake. I want to keep every apex and keep every corner tight to maximize the last one. So this one, get to the middle of the circuit, dab up brakes, keep it to the left-hand side here on the green, sort of inner curb bit, keep it mid-track, and then this one is the important one. This one we need to keep super tight, keep on the curb as long as you can here on the right-hand side until the corner opens up about now. Feed in the power, but I'm still mid-track, bring the car right over to the right-hand side, and this one is where we start turning in, and this one's the important corner. Little lift on the inside, get to the, make sure you get to the apex curb, and then full throttle out, and that's the corner we want to maximize out those S's. It's all about compromise until this one to give us the best little straight line speed down here. Coming into Decna 1 and 2, this is going to be tricky because we can't take the curb. So after these two boards here, we want to start dabbing on the brakes down in the fourth gear. Take a little bit of curb, not too much because you will bounce off into Narnia. And as soon as you touch this curb and get straightened up, that's when you want to start braking again. So braking a nice straight line all the way down to second gear just to get the rotation. You see the car doesn't respond too well at these speeds, really sluggish. Dab of power to get the rear end out to get the rotation. Be careful of the off track there on exit. It's really stupid, but it is easy to get. This little kink here, turning at this point, we want to be right on the right hand side where this kink ends, and we use that curb as our braking marker. Stand on the brakes, do not lock a tire through here, it will be carnage. First gear for this one, nice and slow. Get into the camber of the corner right on the apex and start feeding in the power. Be careful of oversteering first gear, particularly because it does get a little bit wheel spinny, but make sure you get a smooth exit. A good exit out of there is very important because we are full throttle now for a very, very long time before we get into spoon curve, which is 2 corners, but really it's classified as 1, which is kind of annoying. So keep the car on the right hand side, and we're using this service marker, service road right here. Dab of brakes into fourth gear, brake always slightly into the apex egg, drag the brakes into it, down the gear, we'll always deaccelerate at this point. At this point, I do turn in a little bit late, so turn in before the end of the curbing. You see the car isn't responding at this point, it's not getting to the apex curb like I want. I need to build in the power, but be careful of power because then you get snaps of oversteer. And there's another annoying off track here, so bear that in mind. So turn in a little bit earlier, feed in the power nicely, because again, we need a good exit. It's a long straight this into 130R, so getting a good exit will kill you, will be key for lap time. 130R, don't worry about it. At the 50-meter marker, just coming up now, just turn in. It's absolutely flat out even on the fixed setup, so it will easily be flat out in 6th gear in the open setup. So yeah, we don't even use all of the track. That's how easy that one is. But this one, way before the 100-meter marker, so we'll probably brake about 125, 130. Brake nice and heavy, ease off the brake all the way down to first gear again because I found second gear was pushing too much. Little clip of curb on the way in because it's this one we want to watch out for. We need to get a smooth exit this one, so I take a little bit less curb in there, get a snap of oversteer as well, change it up into second and try and get a good exit again because again, start finish straight is a good long full throttle zone, so we need to get a good exit out of that last chicane. But that is us done and dusted with a lap time of a 1:57.105. So yeah, I think I'm getting to 56s if I get my exits right, particularly the one coming out of spoon. I missed. There's got to be a few tenths there that I've missed out there, considering I carried it all the way down the straight. But it's good to show you my mistakes because then hopefully you don't have to. By the way, little challenge for you guys, because you know before 130R there is an extra pit lane and you can go through there flat out. Be careful, don't do it with other cars around, and it is very, very dangerous, but it is kind of fun to do that on the pace lap at full, you know, on the in lap, let's say, when the race is over, to do that full pelt. It is enormously fun, but you will crash into there. But if you can do it, it is great fun, so definitely recommend on that one if you can get to it. Otherwise, it should be a good week. Kind of enjoying this. This is going to be the last race of the season. In season 3 we are going into season 4, end of 2023, which is nuts. So yeah, fingers crossed. I will see you all next season. Don't forget to like and subscribe, do that lovely YouTube stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one.